Why is Zillow so wrong so often about valuations of residential property? Well, to be fair, maybe we should check the premises of that question. And if you want to check it, it's easy to do. If you're a homeowner, simply go online, go to Zillow.com, type in your address, and see what Zillow says is the value of your home. If you're not a homeowner and you want to check it out, ask a friend who you think has a pretty good idea of what the value of his home is, and most homeowners have a pretty good idea of the ballpark of what their property is worth, and have that friend type in their address information and see what their reaction is. I think I know what the outcome will be. Zillow has a problem in that it derives its values just like so many other automated market analysis models do. It takes data from multiple sources, perhaps from tax records, perhaps from multiple listing service records, perhaps from for sale by owner listings, any place that it can gather some information about houses, and then through some sort of algorithm it decides or determines which properties in the neighborhood are comparable, and that it does some calculations and comes up with a number. The problem is it's missing the human element. It doesn't really have any idea of what's going on in that property recently. It's only looking at a sort of a over the world sort of comparison. Let me give you another example. In my own case, now I'm a real estate agent, I've been a real estate agent for 21 years, so I have a pretty good idea of the value of residential property. And in my own personal residence, I typed that address in just before I made this video blog. And it came out telling me that I had a property, I lived in a property with 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. Well, I actually have a home with 5 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms. It said that I had 500 square feet less than what I actually have. And the value on the property was about $30,000 less than what I'm pretty certain that it really is. Now, the problem for me with this is that I work with buyers and sellers all the time. And when I work with a seller, and if the seller has gone on to Zillow and found a value for their property, and they believe that this is a competent source, I've got to overcome an objection unless that just so happens that what Zillow says that particular day matches what I think that it's worth. But let's just say that Zillow is telling that seller that the value of their property is X, and that is about $30,000 above market. Well, a buyer is probably not going to make an offer, and if they do make an offer, then they're going to have it appraised, and when it's appraised, it's going to come in lower, and the seller's not going to be happy, and the deal will fall apart. And so everybody will have wasted all of their time and their money. Not a good outcome. If you're a buyer and you have looked on Zillow, and there's a particular house that you want to buy, and it comes in with a price and it's lower than what it probably ought to be, then they're going to want to make an offer that's lower than what it ought to be, and the seller's not going to take it. And it just so happens that the asking price that the sellers have on is a really good price. And it's a really good home, and it's actually the right home for these particular buyers. But you know what? They're never going to buy it because they're never going to come to terms with the price. So Zillow hasn't helped either the seller or the buyer in these cases. But if you want to use Zillow, I'd say go ahead. It does have some functionality, but just take it with a grain of salt. The number that you get there, don't take that one to the bank because it probably isn't right. It could be, but it probably isn't. I think you'd be better off talking to a real estate professional, finding out what the value of your property is, and I think you'll be better served with that. Well, thank you for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.